Good morning, everyone, and welcome to your Miracle Mindset Monday for this week. So, remember, if you're interested in your own personalized Miracle Mindset Monday, then you can go visit my website, awakeningmiracles.org. Because remember, this is just a generalized energy forecast for the week. And so this week we'll be using the Frequency Tarot. We will be using the Oracle of the Angels, and we will be using the Mystical Wisdom deck. So good morning, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for joining. Thank you for being here. So our overall message for the week is really about hope. And good morning, Shirley. I can see your comments this morning. Yay! So for this morning, our overall message is about hope. Now, we can either let spirit use hope or we can let the ego use hope. And we really want to allow the spirit to use hope because when the spirit uses hope, it's really beneficial. Good morning. Thanks for joining. So, we really want the spirit to use hope because we know when the ego is using hope, because the ego will say, I hope that this happens, or I hope this works out. Good morning, Diane. Good morning, Jennifer. Thanks for joining. Thanks for being here. And so when the ego uses hope, it's always putting your happiness out until tomorrow. So we don't want our happiness out until tomorrow. We want our happiness right here, right now, and we can have it. What we do need to do, though, is we do need to allow the spirit to use hope. Because when the spirit uses hope, it enlightens us, it makes us happy, it makes us joyful, and it gives us that sense of faith, that sense that everything's going to work out. And so that's why we want to be really careful this week that we're not putting our, let's say, for example, you're having a bad day. It's okay that you're having a bad day. Everyone has them. But instead, good morning. Thanks for joining. But instead of saying, oh, this is a terrible, awful day, nothing good is going to happen, and just kind of, or I hope tomorrow will be better. Well, why do you have to hope tomorrow will be better? Why not hope the next moment is better? Why not hope the next second is better? You can hope for that. That's giving you that inspiration to say, okay, how can I look at this differently? Or, you know what, it's going to be fine. The next moment is going to be completely different from this one if I allow it. So we really have to do that. Good morning, Helene. Thanks for joining. So that's where we really want to come from. So now that's just our overall message for the week. Let spirit use hope instead of letting the ego use hope. When the ego uses hope, it puts your happiness out until tomorrow. When spirit uses hope, it enlightens you and inspires you to see things differently. So we're going to go first to the Frequency Tarot, and we're just asking, what is the overall frequency that we need to embody this week in order to really stay open to miracles? Not only in our lives, but also collectively in the world. Oh, beautiful. All right. One more. Oh. Okay. Beautiful. All right. So, our very first card for this week is really about inception. And that, really coming in and observing. That's really what this card says to me is we see these two beautiful spirals of energy beginning to merge into one. And so we're really allowing ourselves to let spirit be that guide, to really let spirit into our consciousness and into our minds. And that's the first card. As we do that, we get to go into this beautiful integration process where we're really integrating all that we have learned along our spiritual journey into this, into a new way of being, into a new way of seeing the world. As we do that, we have this beautiful ability to really focus on that positive. Now, I'm not talking about, there's this thing going around about toxic positivity. And for me, when I see something that says positive focus, to me, that means I see the problem. I recognize that there is a problem. But instead of focusing on the problem, I'm focusing on solutions. Hi, Kate. Thanks for joining. So that's something to really be aware of this week, is to acknowledge, okay, there's a problem. There's something going on here. But I'm not going to necessarily stay focused on the problem. I am going to instead focus on solutions, which is a much different way of looking at things and looking at the world, instead of purely through, I'm just going to sprinkle sunshine, rainbows, and lollipops on everything. Because when we do that, we're not really acknowledging the ability to tap into some really powerful healing. When we see a situation that disturbs our peace, instead of, just putting some pink fondant on it, maybe some sprinkles, maybe some edible glitter, maybe some edible gold, whatever it is, instead we recognize what it is. We have to do that first. Okay, here's the situation, here's the problem, here's my belief. This is what I believe about it. Then, after we've acknowledged that, we've processed it for ourselves, then we can go ahead and say, okay, either what is the silver lining here? Maybe the silver lining is you realized a belief that you didn't even know that you had about a certain topic, about a certain situation. Then number 2 is maybe, you could see a silver lining in it. Maybe you will be able to see it differently, but we really use our focus and our intention for solutions instead of for more of the same problem. As we do that, we really get to return to our source, which means we are really recognizing that the world is coming from us, not to us. The moment that you really realize that and have a deep recognition of that, the whole entire world shifts and changes. Circumstances change, things change, because you realize where they're really coming from, which is they're coming from you. That's where the world is coming from. Just from my belief in the world, is that the world is nothing more than a projector screen for our thoughts and beliefs to kind of play out in front of us. And we have the opportunity to say, yeah, I want to continue this belief, or no, I'm ready to heal this. And, we can heal it through just a huge way, which is you could use forgiveness, you could use Reiki, you could use, shamanism. There are so many different ways in which to begin that healing process, but it all depends on you and what works best for you. So our first 2 cards here are really inviting us to allow spirit into our minds and really begin to integrate what we have learned on that spiritual journey. So we have our inceptions, or inception, which is really allowing ourselves to have our world of the ego really kind of come in and allow spirit to come into that world, so that we can really have this full integration. As we have that integration, we begin to focus on the positive, because we begin to realize that the world is not happening to us, but it is happening from us. So that is our first set of cards. So that kind of gives us the overall energy for this week. Then from there, let's go to the Mystical Wisdom deck. excuse me, and see what other beautiful cards we have for this week. Okay, so let's see. Oh, beautiful. Two, and we need one more, please. Okay. So our first card is Dove. Take a leap of faith. Okay, so this is our first card. So this is really asking you to say, you know what? Taking a leap of faith can be something that's really scary because we are trusting in something that we do not necessarily communicate with on a regular basis, which goes back to our first set of cards, which is allowing spirit to come in and really begin to help you. And so it's saying take that leap of faith this week and really start inviting spirit into your life on a more regular and consistent basis. And one of the best ways to do that, we see the dove up there at the top of the card, and the dove represents peace. And so one of the best ways that we can really start to allow spirit to come into our lives is take steps that are peaceful and compelling. They have to be both. It can't just be peaceful and it can't just be compelling. It has to be peaceful and compelling. And we begin to follow those. As we do, we get to really go with the flow. We're allowing spirit to move through us, for us, and really allowing spirit to just take us where it is we need to go. As we do that, we gain this beautiful knowledge that's already there. See, we're not really learning anything, at least in my opinion. We are remembering what's already within us, which is everything. And so some of that beautiful knowledge will begin to come up. So beautiful for this week is we're allowing spirit to really have more and more of an input in our lives. We're allowing spirit to move through us and for us. As we do that, we're really going to be awakening some of that knowledge that's already within us, that's already there, and really just awakening to it, remembering it, because it's already there. So, absolutely beautiful. Now we're going to go to the Oracle of the Angels to see what beautiful affirmations we can use for this week to help us get into those energies and those vibrations. Oops. All right, so this is one of my very favorite cards in this whole entire deck because the affirmation always gives me chills. So it is the Comfort card. Okay, the Comfort card. This is number 3. I release my fear, for a divine presence comforts me. In trust, I surrender myself to this presence. I let go of all worries and choose to relax. Well-being surrounds me, and I am comforted by the knowledge that I am never alone. I mean, that I think sums up the reading beautifully. So let's kind of do a little bit of a review, and then that will be it for us. So let's do our review. So from the Frequency Tarot, we have the Inception and the Integration. So allowing spirit to come in, allowing spirit to begin to guide you, taking the knowledge that you have about spirituality in whatever way, shape, or form, and beginning to truly integrate that into your life, and really allowing yourself to integrate spirit more actively in your life. As you begin to do that, you begin to focus, have that more positive focus. And once again, we're not talking about toxic positivity, where I'm giving you a mud pie, covering it in fondant and glitter and everything else, and then, saying, here you go, eat this delicious pie. We're recognizing the mud for what it is, and then we're focusing on the positive. As we focus on that positive, we then begin to return to the source, realizing that the world is not happening to us, but the world is happening from us, which gives us a beautiful opportunity to take those divine leaps of faith, which is asking spirit to really come in, inviting spirit to come in, inviting spirit to really guide us. One of the best ways to do that, once again, is take a peaceful and compelling step. And no one says it has to be this giant leap. I know the card says a leap of faith, but it's okay to take bite-sized steps, because sometimes those bite-sized steps are even more leaps of faith because you're beginning a journey. So today, why not use the beautiful spiritual tool of putting your hands over your heart, taking 3 deep breaths. On the last breath, letting out the sound, then putting out your non-dominant hand, so for me that's my left hand, going to your closet and saying, okay, Spirit, what would you have me wear today? Closing your eyes, hand still on your heart, and just kind of putting your arm over your clothes and just kind of seeing, where you feel a pang, a feeling. Maybe you just feel the word stop. You see the word stop. Really begin that process. As you do that, you really go with the flow because you are allowing spirit to move for you and through you. As spirit moves for you and through you, you begin to awaken that knowledge that is already within you. As you awaken that knowledge, you realize that you are never alone, and that anytime worry, concern, things like that come up, we have the ability to give it over to that higher power, and it will handle it for us if we hand over every single aspect. But we must hand it over completely, not just a little bit, not just 5%. Give it 100% over to the best of your ability. And there's so many different ways of doing that. There's writing it. There's setting the intention. There's doing, the full moon thingamabob where you write down, what it is you want to release and then you burn it. There's just writing it down and ripping it up. There is doing Reiki. There is doing shamanic journeying. There's so many different ways in which to release things wholly and completely. It's just finding the one that works best for you. The one I like to use is I will write down what it is that is bothering me. I will then rip it up. That's my symbolic way of saying I'm giving this to the universe. And sometimes as I'm ripping it up, I literally say that. I'll be like, I'm giving this over to the universe 100%. As I rip up this paper, I am releasing my attachment to outcomes and the way that I think things should work out, the way I think things should be. Then I throw it away. As I throw it away, I begin to think of things I'm grateful for that have nothing to do with what I am releasing. Because then if I focus on, I'm so grateful that this situation is going to work out, then what am I doing? I'm refocusing on it. I've already given it away. Now I need to set my attention and my focus on something else positive, going on that positive scale. What am I grateful for that has nothing to do with that situation? Just something simple and easy that you can do. So that is our reading for this week. So remember, our overall message as well was about hope and allowing spirit to use hope, because spirit will use hope to inspire you, to keep you going, to light the fire within you, while ego will use hope to put your happiness out until tomorrow again and again and again and again. We don't want to do that. We want to come back in because hope, when used by spirit, lets you be happy in the now moment. Okay? So enjoy this beautiful week. For those of you that follow me on my ACIM support page, I will be over there in just a minute. We will be reading lesson 235. So I will see you over there. Bye for now.